Hi guys, Lexie here, founder of the THEPRBAR Inc. And today I'm going to talk about 3 different types of ROI that can come from press and the type of press that generates those 3 different types of ROI. So if you're watching this video, that means you are in learning mode. And I will get to what I'm talking about today in just a second, but I also wanted to introduce you to something I'm starting, and that's giving a shout out to someone else that I think is kicking butt in the teaching space. Specifically, this week, I want to give a shout out to Keith and Nicole, who is killing it in all things PR and diversity and inclusion. Thank you for all that you're doing to help educate the public right now. Everyone watching this, remember to not just continue your business education, but also continue your education on diversity and inclusion. So, today's topic, there are 3 main ROIs that come from press. Let's go over them, shall we? The first type of ROI that can come from press is what I like to call immediate revenue drivers. This is when you land a placement where someone can click to purchase. And quite literally, by landing that press placement, your brand is going to receive some sort of spike in income. So an example of this might be a gift guide, right? Let's say you are a product-based business. Shout out to my client, Malibu Apothecary, because they're sitting right here on my desk. If Malibu Apothecary was sitting in a gift guide, myself as a consumer would see that piece of press, click the link, and I can immediately purchase. So this is an ROI where you see an immediate click to purchase. Now, what people might be surprised to hear about are the outlets that can generate immediate revenue, because they're not always the type of outlets you think of. Typically, when people first come to me about talking about PR, they name drop the big ones, right? Oprah, Forbes, Vogue, all the things. You might be surprised to learn that while these are great for another type of ROI, which I'll get to in a second, they aren't necessarily revenue drivers for every single brand. More niche publications or smaller outlets or blogs with high engagement rates, those more often than not can actually drive a lot more click-through revenue. So just something to think about. Now, speaking of these big names, brings me to the second type of ROI that can come from press, and that is social proof or credibility or door openers. When you land something, a media mention in a big name, Oprah, Forbes, Inc. magazines, it does a few different things. One, it attaches your name or brand to that logo, right? Automatically giving you a level of social proof and credibility. If you have 2 coaches, for example, one has been featured as an expert by Forbes and one doesn't have that claim, who immediately do people think is more credible? Forbes. Now, will that affect the buying decision? Likely. So in that way, yes, it is attached to revenue. It's just not usually at a typically an immediate click to purchase. So it also allows you to have a door opener. So what do I mean by door opener? The more credible you get, the more doors of opportunity open, right? So let's say you want to become a speaker. Well, a speaker applying who's been featured in Forbes is going to seem more credible than a speaker applying who has no press mentions. So this is another type of ROI that can come from PR. Again, it's not that immediate click to purchase, but ultimately it does lead to revenue down the line. The third type of ROI I want to go over are word of mouth drivers. This is the type of press that really get people talking about your business. Now, there are 2 different kind of categories of press that do a really great job of driving word of mouth that I want to highlight. First is local press. These are community-centric magazines, your local business journals. So I live in Ventura County. You know, we have the Pacific Coast Business Times. This one's huge. Everyone in my area generally reads this, and it's a great word-of-mouth driver for local businesses. I know I was featured in a top 20 in their 20s for the San Fernando Valley Business Journal. This was huge. I had my in-laws' friends telling me they saw me in this magazine. These are things that really drive word of mouth at a local level. So if that's important to your business, then don't rule out your local press. The second category is niche outlets. Now, this is an outlet or a publication that maybe someone outside of your industry might not ever hear of. However, within your industry or within your client demographic, that's where they go to for top of the line breaking industry news. So let me give you an example. In PR, one outlet that's more of a niche outlet is called PR Couture. So if you are in the world of PR, you likely have heard of and or read PR Couture. So shout out to PR Couture. This, if you are featured or you get involved or collaborate, is a great word of mouth driver within the PR community. So now to recap, the first type of ROI we talked about was straight up click to purchase immediate revenue generators. These can come in all different shapes and forms, but generally it's when your product or your service is featured with the link to click to purchase. The second type is social proof, or what I call door openers. These are when you land placements that give you credibility as a brand or a business. Now, while you might not immediately see a click to purchase from being featured in this outlet, what it will do is give you that social proof, that third-party credibility that will ultimately affect most buyers in the buying process. Also, it'll lead the way to much bigger scale opportunities. The third are your word of mouth drivers. These are great for local businesses or really industry specific products or businesses, right? So never forget your local press are great. Never forget that you can sell even as an online business owner to your local community. So these are just 3 types of ROIs that can come from press. If you have any questions, as always, never hesitate to reach out. Please follow me on Instagram at @thePRBar_Inc. You can check out my website, thepRBarInc.com. And just to give Keitha one more shout out, don't forget to follow her as well. And have a great day, all.